say your C4 and the C5 nerves, which is related to the shoulder elevation and also shoulder abduction. Shoulder elevation, of course, this is the shoulder elevation or lifting shoulder. Abduction, abduction is nothing but is the lifting the hand upward direction. When the person is not able to lift, there are the numerous reasons. Because of the shoulder pain is not very super simple. It is very, very complicated shoulder joint. Among the joints in our body, which is so complicated, is the dislocation of the shoulder also it gets happen. In that case, the people will going to adjust the shoulder. In this way, the people are doing, right? So in this way, the complex joint to be called as a shoulder joint. Numerous reasons to cause the shoulder pain, but however, you need to correct by using the spinal nerves. So those nerves are two nerves that now called as a C4 and C5. Repeat with me. For shoulder problems can be treatable by activating the two spinal nerves. What are those? Shoulder pain is equal to C4, C5. Shoulder pain is C4 and C5. Then head related problem? C3. Now 5 spinal nerves we completed. So this in fact is where the one half tube lateral to the cervical vertebrae we need to activate. Where need to be done? Each vertebrae below that spinal nerves are existing, not on the middle of the cervical vertebrae or not the thoracic vertebrae or lumbar vertebrae, but the spinal nerves are communicating below the caudal process or the below the spinous process of the each vertebra. There is a spinal nerves are passing right through the foramina. So therefore, the points to be activated below the vertebrae, we need to activate nearly half tune to 1.5 tune needling depth to be applied to the treat for the spinal nerves. Is it going to damage the spinal nerves? Definitely we don't damage to the spinal nerves, because of when it goes to the very, very deeper level, so there are the small chances are there. But of course there is the Huato Chiachi, right? Chachi. Who is Chachi, do you know? And so remember that Chachi, Huato, is a great French neurologist, that means he is a Chinese neurologist, and who studied the Western medicine. Later he completed the acupuncture. So when he wanted to treat the people related to the hemiplegia conditions or the muscle related problem, he could not able to get the precise results. Later he identified there is some neuroconnectivity is communicating the motor system. That time he found it that there is a more good results when we apply the needle on the respective spinal segments. Right, the whole spinal segments we are talking here is the parasympathetic nervous system. So far what we are studying, parasympathetic nervous system, which is connected to the enteric system also. Right, so now here is the C4, C5, he introduced that to Huato Chiachi, but he identified the T1 to L2 points only. T1 to L2 points that indicating all the Huato Chiachi points, 17 points on the right side, 17 points on the other side. Collectively there are the 34 acupuncture Huato Chiachi points are located, I believe. So in this case, here is the extraordinary Huato Chiachi points. Here Huato is not introduced at these points, but these points belongs to the not only the traditional Chinese medicine points, but these points belongs to the Western perspective acupuncture points also. But there is no specific acupuncture points are located here. But however, you need to identify as per the Western or modern methodology of the treatment. So this to be called as a neck B points. When we add up to the TCM constitution here, neck B syndrome. The P denotes here is the arthritis. If anything is connected to the B syndrome is called as a arthritis or the osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, so on. But here is the B syndrome, which is communicating to the spondylosis. Right, yes, if it is connected to the shoulder related issues or the cervical related issues, so both are connected to the P syndrome, cervical P syndromes. So those, as per those syndromes, so we need to regulate by activating the local point, having the local effect. So therefore, when we apply the needle on the spinal nerves, that communicating and opening and releasing certain spinal nerves and communicating to the certain muscles. So as I told you, the dermatome and myotome. So major difference between these two is the myotomes are supplying the single nerve to the group of the muscles, whereas in dermatomes are supplying the spinal nerves, which is communicating to the skin area, which is communicating to the sense of the being. right? The sense of feeling is there. The feelings to be hotness, coldness, numbness, all are connected to the dermatomes. When there is a myotomes are involved, then you understand there is a pain is existing more and rigidity of the muscles are there. But however, the patient complaining about I do have the pain and also numbness sensation, at the same time the burning sensation, collectively the patient is having stiffness also, then you understand it has been happening both as a cocktail kind of the attention here. The myotome and dermatome both are included. It is happening due to that reason. There is a pain is happening on the shoulder pain or the elbow pain or the wrist pain, so on. Right? So in this case, or the patient is only feeling some kind of the numbness is there, then it is that only dermatomes are affected. The patient is complaining, I do have very strong pain and muscle stiffness also is there, then of course the myotomes also involved here. But however, the patient is complaining anyone, we need to activate these are the nerves. For the shoulder related problem, then what are the nerves are involved? C4, C5, you keep it in your mind, we need to activate from by using the cervical vertebrae, activating 0.5 tune lateral to the lower border of the process of the vertebrae, we need to 0.5 tune to 1.5 tune. If the people are not familiar about the tune is indicating to the 1 inch. 1 inch is equal to 23 mm, right? I would like to give you one more key information to all of you. The people who are suffering for the shortness of breath or breathlessness, where the diaphragm muscles are affecting, right? So there are the two ways you understand. The patient is complaining, I do have the pain on my chest muscles or the chest region or the diaphragm muscles. What is diaphragm? Dividing? What does it? What is the main mechanism of the diaphragm?
So it expands and it contracts.
Good. Then?
Upper thoracic to lower thoracic.
Yeah. Breathing also to be taken place by the diaphragm muscles. When the patient is complaining about the muscular issues on the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, or the shortness of breath or breathlessness, due to, of course, there is some kind of the alveoli problem inside the lungs, air sac having the deficiency or the excessiveness, the oxygen going inside less and carbon dioxide is passing out more, so which leads to the shortness of breath. At the same time, so many complications like accumulation or retention of the phlegm, right? So anything connected to the diaphragm muscles, when we need to treat for the asthmatic conditions, definitely we try to focus on the C3 to C5, myotones nerves helping to breathing, right? So when I took the scalp acupuncture, that time most probably I told there are certain points on the cervical C3 to C5 area which is governing to the diaphragm muscles. The people who are suffering for the asthma patients are there. For them we need to treat. Definitely we are treating certain points as a Shao Sham and then Shao Chung. All the points REN17 and LU11. These points having the local point and also lung meridian point, emergency points. At the same time we use as a collateral LU5 and LU7. Shiza and Li Chu. These points are put to strengthen and to regulate for the lungs. At the same time, you are treating only by activating this. But in the holistic way, you wanted to treat for the respiratory distress, definitely you can add up the points on the cervical C3 to C5 is good to treat for the diaphragm muscles. Number one, right? When there is the breathing difficulty is there, asthma patient is there, cough is there, something connected to the lungs which causing the pain on the diaphragm muscles, definitely you can add up the points called as C3 to C5. That means C3 one now, C4 one now, C5. So please repeat with me. Diaphragm muscles are to treat for the respiratory illness can be treatable by activating the nerves called as a good. Right. At the same time, what to be done? The thoracic nerves also involved to regulate the thoracic muscles on the front side, pectoralis minor and major. Of course, at the same time, intercostalis muscles also regulated by activating the thoracic region vertebrae as well. Those nerves called as a T2 to T5 also included here. At the same time, we wanted to treat T2 to T2 to T7 till that region you can activate to treat bilaterally for the pulmonary system, which including the cardiac system, which including the circulatory system, which including the nervous system, because you know that there are the 2 points are located Chu in Chu and then Sin Chu, Fin Shu, right? What P means denotes here is the lungs. Pericardium Shu is for the pericardium brine. At the same time Sin, S-I-N, Sin denotes here is the heart. Sin Shu, so that is thoracic vertebra, 5th region, there is a 1.5 tune lateral, we do have all these points. So those points are regulating and communicating. What are the difference between the mu points and Shu points?
2 points at the back. Who are being front alarm points.
Yes, so this is in and yang points. The back shoe alarm points are communicating to the yang dorsalis muscles, which is regulating to the yang nature, whereas in move front points are communicating to the yin nature of the points. No doubt, for example, Chukko, that point is LU1, right? The point is located front side. The Vishu, the point is located on the back. Both are communicating to the lungs. So the chronic diseases can be treatable by activating the move front point, and then acute problem can be treatable by activating the back shoe points. So in points called as the move front points and the back shoe points, where the deficiency and excessiveness both can be regulated by activating the move front and back shoe points. Right. Some of the people have some kind of the dilemma. What is this? Is the move front alarm point, back shoe points? Definitely, you will come to know how the Dr. Mirza is going to take the classes for you for the meridian system. That time you will going to understand. So now we have understand about the thoracic region. The lungs can be regulated by activating not only by using the LU1 to LU11 points you are treating to treat for the lungs diseases. Definitely we can treat. So no doubt you can treat. At the same time, try to understand about the Western analogy, Western perspective, Western medicine. Now you are learning as a traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture and also modern acupuncture also. You are learning as a Western acupuncture also. You are learning as a allopathy acupuncture as well. You are the beautiful, that I feel proud all of you are very fortunate. You are combining collectively. So many years you completed only the TCM points, but now as a lungs meridian, if I wanted to talk about the one particular acupuncture point, I can address you around 10 minutes by innervating of the nervous system, arterial system, muscular system, but at the same time I am teaching you as a connectivity of the Western physiology. Definitely that will be added advantage, because I try to understand myself. When I wanted to treat the people, it takes around 10 to 12 sittings to get the recovery period. Sometimes it goes a longer duration, but now in the short duration, the people will be benefited when I integrated the points to be called as a Western acupuncture and then TCM acupuncture as well. But you should not feel dilemma. I wanted to study TCM acupuncture, sorry, is taking some other pathways. But of course, I would like to give you as a TCM is the base. You remember always when you wanted to learn as a anything connectivity is the micro system of the acupuncture. You look at about the nose acupuncture, lips acupuncture, scalp acupuncture, or the micro meridians, or the tongue acupuncture. Anything, the base and foundation is TCM. Please don't forget. I repeatedly say that, so you know that TCM original acupuncture points, that's are duplicate acupuncture points or other points. Of course, that's not totally duplicate. Replica, they have extracted from the TCM points. When we look at about the Dr. Richards from the USA in 1980s, so there are the numerous things divided into micro and macro acupuncture. He integrated collectively based on the TCM principles only. You remember? So without that anything, the Paul Nogier invented something. The Paul Nogier first he studied what is acupuncture, TCM, right? If the Western acupuncture who invented, many authors are there. The Felix Mann and who introduced it in the French countries. So he first studied the TCM acupuncture, then he introduced his own methodology of the treatment. So due to that reason, here I would like to give you TCM points always is there with you. But when I have taken so many years, but I think so 361 acupuncture points. I mean, right or wrong? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I have given with all the Chinese terminology with precise locations and physiology and functions. But right? But still you can find out the, if I get the opportunity in the morning, I would like to address once again is the very most key important points is the TCM points in the later future. But now you understand, you are treating to the LU1 to LU11 points to treat for the lung system. At the same time now you are, understanding to treat for the lungs problem by activating to the C3 to C5. Repeat with me, C3 to C5. Then T2 to T7. Right, you are treating to lungs related issues. I am clear? Good night, I love you.
Yes, sir.
Good job, no? So